Hi, I'm going to show you how to create a voiced visualization agent using Google Agent Development Kit. This one is a lot of fun to work with and experiment on. Let's take a look at how the agent is organized. It is equipped with three tools. The first tool previews the data passed to the agent. This is the data I want to generate insights from in the form of visualizations. In my case, the data is stored in an Excel file. So the first tool allows the agent to preview the data and generate an SQL query. Then the second tool executes the SQL query, and the third tool is responsible to create the desired visualization. The agent also has a set of instructions that guide it on when and how to use each tool to accomplish the task. The agent takes a refined user prompt as input. I found that when I create prompts, whether by typing or speaking, they tend to be very messy. And to help the agent reliably interpret my intent and generate the right visualization, I first record myself, then pass the transcription along with some instructions to an LLM, which generates a cleaner, refined prompt as an input for the agent. Let's see how the agent executes first, and then I will walk you through how it's built. And by the way, if you are not familiar with the environment I'm using, it is JupyterLab. It's an interactive development environment that makes quick prototyping very easy. You just write your code, execute it, and the output appears right below the code cell. Now let me show you the dataset I will be querying. It's the US IPO data for 2025. And there is a lot of data. Here we have the ticker symbols, then we have the proposed share price, the price date, the industry, and there are some columns with performance data. Now let me start my agent, the recording. I just need to execute this cell here, and the recording has already started. Let's take a look at the data and what I would like to visualize. Okay, create a Sankey diagram. Sankey diagram which visualizes the different industries and how they split between the different unique groups in proposed share price. Let me stop the recording. And now I will pass it for transcription, and then for generating the refined prompt, the transcription will take a second. And here is the refined prompt. Create a Sankey diagram to visualize the distribution of various industries and how they are split between the different groups based on the proposed share price. Each industry should be a source node, and the groups based on share price should be the target nodes, effectively showing the flow from industries to share price groups. Let's execute this. Here is the agent execution. It follows the steps it has been instructed to follow. First it previews the data, then it extracts the data which is relevant for the visualization, and then it creates the visualization input, and finally it should create the visualization. Let's take a look here. Yes, those are the different. It's a bit too messy because there are 67, I think, industries which were listed in the table. 67, yes. And this is how the final visualization looks in this case. It is showing the different priced groups and how many stock symbols landed in each priced group. Let's try with another question which I have recorded before, just for you to get an understanding how it works. I will use one of those. Let's see what this is and transcribe it. Okay, it's about a bar chart. Create a bar chart to visualize proposed ticker symbols grouped by unique proposed share price values. For each group, calculate the average cumulative return from IPO, and so on and so on. Let's see what this will do when we execute it. And by the way, if you are wondering what is this cell here at the bottom, this is again triggering an execution output, but it is printing the full execution output of the agent. Therefore, I'm not using it here because I would need to scroll a lot otherwise. And here it is. All right, they are grouped by they are ordered by average cumulative return based on different share price groups. And now let's look at how this agent is built. Let's start from the beginning. First, I'm installing the dependencies which are needed. Then I'm loading two API keys, OpenAI API key, because I'm using currently GPT-4o, but I can also use the Google models. Therefore, I've loaded the Google API key here as well. And then we start with the small function here, which simply passes the audio to be to GPT-4o to be transcribed. And then the next one takes the transcription, and here are the instructions which it follows in order to create the refined prompt. Then we have the tools which are being passed to the agent. This is the preview Excel structure tool, and then the complex DuckDB query. It is just a tool which executes the SQL, and then we have the most complex tool, create visualization. There was a lot of work around this tool and it still needs improvement, but currently it can visualize lines, bar, stack bar, and 100% stack bar, and some other visualization types. It should be split in many different functions. And then here is the agent initialization and the agent definition. I'm using a light LLM to be able to use the external models, and if I want to use the Gemini model, which is interesting, maybe I will try with it to see how it works, because it is much more strict and it sometimes have troubles to generate the visualization output. But first let's focus on the agent here. So we have here the model we would like to use, and define this white LLM in case it's an external to Google model. Then we have the executor, which allows us to limit the attempts of the execution from the agent. And then here is the actual agent definition. You have to provide name, model description, instructions, which is the system prompt, and below here we need to pass the tools to the agent. What is next? This is the preparation of the prompt, and then I need to create the session and the runner in order to be able to run the agent. And here I'm creating the final prompt which is being passed to the agent. It is a combination from this simple string here, where I pass the file on top of which it will be working, which can be seen here on the left. It's in the same directory as the one of the agent, and then I'm combining it with the refined prompt and pass this as an user message to the agent. And finally, this is the code which executes the agent. Let's try to execute it one final time using Gemini to see how it will perform with it. I will skip the recordings, I will just come to the execution. What happened here? Let's see, you can see that it changed the model based on the different execution output. So far so good. It created something. We are waiting for the visualization, which in fact might not happen. Okay, it tries again. And now it would have been interesting to see what is going wrong, and if I have used the full if I've been printing the full execution output, it would be clearer what's going on. It's trying once again. Let's see how many attempts it will do. Okay, it failed eventually. I've tried several times to generate the visualization, but I'm still running into the same extract data error. I suspect there might be an issue how the visualization tool handles the data. In this specific case, yes, indeed, what happens with GPT-4o, it recognizes if the data is not prepared well here in the table, it sometimes transforms it so it can fit to the visualization type, and it is able to create a better schema for the visualization, while Gemini is not doing so well in that respect. And I think that's it for this tool. If you're interested to use it, you can just grab it from GitHub and have a lot of fun with it. Thank you for listening.